the purpose of this webinar is not to provide actual training. We want to make this quick, but to give you an overview of its capabilities. You'll see the software is very visual and it's very flexible compared to most products out there. Many of you, I guess, use Excel or a combination of paper, Excel, and other calculation software. You'll see how this is so much more efficient. It will allow you to reduce your payment schedule preparation time. So you'll build your schedules very, very easily. Collections will become much easier. You'll avoid mistakes. And your accounting reports will be produced in record time. So let's begin. Back to Marjo. So this is the main window where you see all your loans. You can sort by any one of these columns. I can find here example. I want to find, my database has anything in there. I want to find something with Lucy or Daniel or whatever. I can find it with a little magnifying glass. I can say I only want to see one creditor or a different creditor. I can have my aging balance. So here's my aging balance, 30 days and more, etc. Just bear in mind, you could have 1,000 columns here, which of course would be ridiculous, but you're able to do that. So my loan end dates, for example, my oldest loan, my loan will end in 2038. My youngest one has actually already ended in 2016, etc. Don't forget, you could have hundreds, tens or hundreds or thousands of loans in this main window. You'll notice here in the loan types, you will customize your loan types. And you don't even need us. You can do this on your own. So let's begin. Let's do a new record. So I go to File, New Record. A record is a loan or anything you want. We call it a record. So here's where I'm going to put in the financial information in a few minutes. But before I do that, let's go to General, where I would choose my loan type. Let's say this is a business loan. Other data are custom fields which you create. You can have as many fields as you want. You can even have you create your own pull-down menus. But this is a region in the West. EFT we'll look at afterwards, or electronic funds transfer, which are very, very useful. The borrower, I can create a new borrower or select an existing one. So let's say Lucy Smith is my borrower. So I have her information. I can have a co-borrower, husband and wife, for example, and I can also have a guarantor. So I can, let's say Julie Butcher is her guarantor, who's her mom. Creditor is often one or many creditors. I could select one. Let's say it's Fund ABC. I could have multiple creditors in here for what we call participation loans. You can do some credit reporting when you have enough volume. APR is if you want to put in fees that are either paid up front, finance, or paid subsequently, more in construction loans. I can charge a $100 fee up front. Alerts, I can't click on it now because I have to save my record first, but alerts are reminders. Don't forget the column for renewal of his insurance. The loan ends in 2020. Remind me 2 weeks ahead of time. So there are 5 types of alerts. Very, very useful. Advanced is where we can put in if it's simple or compound interest. We have many elements in here. The day count, actual, 3360, etc. And various other elements also. I can also use automatic fees, which we'll see afterwards. Okay, so let's go back to data and enter some information. So the loan starts in 2019, 05/16. Let's say it starts today. My first payment will be in a month and a few days, 07/01. Compounding is monthly. It could be, if I'm doing mortgages, it would be semi-annually in Canada. Payment frequency, monthly, twice monthly. By days, I could say every 14 days, every 7 days. Well, I'm just going to leave it monthly for now. I can have my payment method, P&I, principal and interest, interest only, etc. I have other options. I'll leave it normal. Now let's give out a $10,000 loan. My interest rate will be 12.55%. I can add fees or taxes. If I want to add, for example, I could have taxes here. If I'm doing some leases, I could add my GST and my PST in this or in the two columns here. And you'll notice here I have NSF fees, which will be added automatically if the payment is not made when it's supposed to. You create your own rules. So I didn't put any fees. So I'll say this is amortized over, let's say 36 months, 3 years. And the payment is unknown. I could always leave one unknown and it'll be computed. I could have said I want to pay $500 a year, a month, should I say, and the amortization period will be calculated automatically. So now we compute. And there I have my payment schedule. So this is my client will have to pay, my borrower will pay $336.58 a month. Go all the way down. I could have fun with this also. I could say, well, listen, I'll give you a break for the first 6 months. No interest. That could have been a possibility. I could say interest rates to 0, or I could go payments. I want to do interest only payments. Never mind this. There I have interest only payments, and I can even go so far as to recompute the payments, always with the right mouse click, payments adjusted for balance equals 0. And there it's going to compute $390. And now I have my schedule. Interest only for 6 months, these extra payments. I can even go as far as say, in the month of August, I'll be paying $1,000, and I can readjust my payments, of course. So this is how you create the schedule, you save it, and it's in your database. Now, let's do payment management. I'll show you how we would do it manually, although most people will not do it manually like this. See these line statuses? I'm predicting the future. So I'm saying, okay, fine, this is paid. It's a paid payment. Well, the second one was actually also paid, but was paid cash. You can define your own line types. The third one was actually unpaid. Of course, I'm going in the future here. So he should have paid 104, but he paid nothing. So I have an outstanding of 104. I could have had automatic fees kick in. I didn't program it for the demo, but I could have had my fees here. Let me find these somewhere. I could go in, I would move this across. It would be right to the left, and I could put NSF fees of $25. Now, these can kick in automatically if you want. As long as you create the rule, it can be kicked in automatically. Never mind all these columns to the right. Most of the time, you don't even have to look at them, but they're there for more information. Although in reporting, you can pull up all this information. So there we go. I update it as time goes on. Imagine you had 1,000 loans. Of course, you wouldn't do this. There's a tool to automatically post, not automatically, but a human will go in and post payments. So let's go look at this tool. So I go to Tools, Post Payments. Show me all payments due today on the 15th, or everything I have not yet managed. Refresh. Oh, kind of boring. Everything's up to date. Let's go to June 1st, 06, 01. So those are the payments I have to update. So all these guys, I would change them from due payments, right click with the mouse, selection, change them to paid payment or paid cash or whatever. Or I can micromanage and say these guys are all paid and this one is a partial payment. So partial payment, he should have paid 1,100, he paid 500. So it's really, really easy to manage all these loans. I'll say apply and it would update. We don't want to do that. So I'll close this up. So that's how you do your payment management, unless you are using what we call electronic funds transfer. In Canada, we work with a company called Fintech. They service any bank in Canada. In the US, we use a company called Intrix based in California. So let's look at the EFT. So Fund ABC is my creditor. I refresh. Oops, that's kind of boring. Hold on, let me choose another date here. I'll say I want to see all my payments up until June 15th. So these are all the upcoming payments, 5 transactions. I go like this, submit, or I just submit them, select all, and I submit. I'm not plugged in directly, but what it would say, this file was accepted by Fintech, and that's it. All this was, so 5 pre-authorized payments were set, and I'm all done. What's really interesting when you have a bit of volume is the rejected transactions report. I can go in here and download, this is a pain. I can download my reject report. So if I was to download this, I get a list of my rejects. There's a little button here that says post my unpaids. What would happen, all the paid payments, which I assume were paid, now become unpaid. The fees apply. And as an added bonus, you can go in and have an email sent automatically to your client that says, "Dear John, your payment on June 5th was rejected. Please call me ASAP. Mark Jonas with your phone number." So these emails go out automatically. Very, very interesting. And as long as we're talking about notifications, you can also warn your clients 2 days, 5 days ahead of time. "Dear Julie, a payment is due on June, well, in this case, in April 20th, April 21st. Make sure you, for an amount of $250, make sure you've got the amount in your bank account." So this is a way to reduce the losses. So people at least are advised that something's coming up. Make sure the payments, the amount is in your bank account, or make sure to bill to send your check. Very useful. So we're moving right along. Let's go look at the reports. So usually I would select what I want to report. I go to reports. We have something called advanced queries, which we won't go over, where you can really select precise loans in your database. This is more for larger databases. So let's try this, an executive dashboard, which gives you a good overview of your portfolio with nice little graphics. It's kind of sweet. It gives you a kind of an analysis. I want to look at the record list. This one will allow you, let's create a new one. It's really easy. You can create as many of these reports as you want. I'll call this the webinar. On the left, well, you'll notice how many fields I have, 1,071 fields. It's a little overwhelming, I must admit, but luckily they're all by theme. We have the more popular ones. For example, I want a loan ID. So I'll call this loan ID. I want my borrower first name, last name, how much principal I lent out for this period, how much interest was accrued, how much interest was paid, how much principal was paid. I can also go here under principal and find principal paid for period. I could go in balances and pick up my final balance at the very, very end of loan, or the balance at report end date. I can have some repayment ratio if I wanted to. I can have doubtful accounts, etc. So there are tons of things to choose from. My loan end date or my record date. I can have the borrower birthday, whatever. So I'll save it. Let's run the report for 2019-01-01. I'll run it for a couple of months. Although people will usually run it from month to month. 2019-03-31. Create report. Oops, 2019. 03-31. Create report. Do not show again. And there I have my reports. I only had this information for the period I chose. I can show totals. So with this, I see I lent out no money in this period. Of these 3-month period, I didn't lend out anything. Interest accrued, interest paid, principal paid. I could have the principal also for the whole loan itself without factoring in the period. Repayment, oh, look at this. I have good clients. They're all paying 100%. Wonderful. Loan end date, borrow, and birthday. There's a cool little feature in our new version 5.0 coming out very soon. It's a spreadsheet where you can have fun. It's a little spreadsheet where you can play around with it if you wanted to. Let's go back here. I can then save this as Excel and have this in Excel right instantly. So very nice report, very quick to get any kind of information you want. I could even say, show me what's paid in cash versus what's paid by check versus what's paid by ACH or electronic funds transfer. Other report I want to show you very quickly. There's also an accounting entries. If there are any accountants out there, if I edit this, I can give it my debit and credit accounts for all my transactions and send this directly to Sage, to QuickBooks, to Excel, CSV, etc. So this is a very, very useful report and it's so efficient. I won't run one, but it's available. A couple of other fun things are the mail merges. I mentioned you can do this with emails. Dear John, please be advised that on May 5th, the payment that's supposed to be drawn from your account was rejected, blah, blah, blah. I can also do mortgage statements. So these are merge fields. And you can send these out in mass. If I was to run this report, I go to document merge. I choose my invoice here. No, let's find a nicer one, whatever. I go here, I can create a docx, I can create a PDF. I can save the file. I can attach each file produced to the record. I forgot to mention this, but you can attach any type of file to the record. So there's a document management system in there. You can also scan it in there directly. I can also go in and send emails. I can send emails if I would not connected with a subject and send them out all in bulk. We have some clients who send out hundreds every month by email. They started at 5 o'clock at night, takes about 10 seconds each, and they all go out. So next, I won't do it, but you could build it up. And this will populate this properly here. So very nice feature. Apart from that, let's see a couple final things. We're almost at the end. I go to Files. I can have various types of users. I go to Tools, My Users. I can have administrator, power user, very close, a user, a draft user who can only create drafts, cannot make them active, and a read-only user. And you can give extra rights or take away rights for your various users. Pull this up. A cool little feature here is for my problem loans to be very visual, I can right-click and choose a color. So these are my problem loans. I'll put them in red. I can easily even sort them by color. I don't have it in here, but you can sort it by color. So a very nice feature. Last thing before the conclusion is the import. You have 50, 100, 1,000, 2,000 loans, doesn't really matter. You can actually import all your borrowers via an Excel sheet, a very simple Excel sheet, or you can import your loan data with your Excel sheet and you simply map your header, the Excel header, to the marginal field. And it goes, so it's very easy. The complicated thing is actually getting this into your Excel, but you know, it's a nice cleanup, which you'll do. And then importing takes about a second each in marginal. Highly efficient. Before I conclude, one interesting thing is this module. This is on the web where your borrowers can actually go and see their totals. Any information you want to give them, you can put in here and they can see the information. So the next due amount, next payment, the loan amount, etc. This can all be in here. Of course, this will be customized to your own logo, etc. And every user has their own username and password. So that's pretty much it. We're in about 20 minutes, which is fine. For conclusion, I could probably spend another hour doing this, looking this over, but these were the highlights. If you have questions, I invite you to give us a call or to send us an email. Just bring this over here. Boom, there we go. sales@marginal.com. By phone, you have our phone number. The link, which was given to you earlier today or last week, is a permanent link, which means you can have other people in your organization who'll take a look at this webinar. It's going to be on YouTube. And that's it. Again, I thank you for participation and have a wonderful day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.